zachitika kuti zachitika nthawi zanji kodi nanga amene wapanga ndani musakhale nawo gulu lovutika ndi mphekesera ayi tapangani subscribe ku Malawi Daily Headlines lero kuti zochitika mdziko mwanu momwe zisamakuphonyeni.
Chitera, welcome to MBC Exclusive.
Thank you very much.
Now, tell us how things are moving here at MUBAS academically.
Yes, so here at MUBAS, things are going on well. Yes, we have our own challenges, but as usual, challenges, they are there. But I think we are registering significant progress on the ground. So let me take you back from where we are coming from. When we were unbundled, after the unbundling, we became an independent university. We had to sit down and say, where do we improve? Where do we start from? And as we were thinking about that, all what we needed to look at is we do not compromise the quality and the standards of our institution, with the aim that the graduate that goes out at the end of the day offers solutions, the real world solutions when he goes out there. So we had to restructure ourselves. So there was a process of restructuring in terms of our departments, in terms of our schools, and also introducing new entities within the institution to make sure that we support that particular system, but we also support the graduate that will go out at the end of the day. So we looked at the performance issues, we looked at the standard issues, we introduced a number of entities, but also we had to improve and enhance the standard of our members of staff. So I'll give you an example that in this particular structure, we are striving that each and every member, especially the academic member of staff, in the short term, everybody should have a minimum qualification of a PhD, because we want to raise the standards. We want to be different. We have a history from where we are coming from, but we don't want to maintain that particular history. We want to change and make sure that our graduate at the end of the day is able to provide solutions when he goes out of this institution.
Now, MUBAS was born from the unbundling of the University of Malawi. When you look back, do you think that it was necessary that the unbundling should take place?
Yes, when we look back, it was necessary without even thinking twice about it. It was necessary that that particular unbundling needed to take place at that particular point. There are quite a number of obvious reasons that we can see on the ground what that unbundling has done to different universities, not just us, but even to UNIMA itself, even to COHES. So if we talk in terms of us, if you look at the way we have grown, I don't think that the growth that we have experienced now could have been experienced if we were still under the federal system. So, for example, we have introduced a number of entities, research entities, and we are able now to redefine ourselves in line with the mandate that we are given in the Act. Right now, MUBAS is research intensive. We are focusing on research intensive. We are going towards the research intensive. So as an institution, we are able now to define the strategic position of this particular institution. We are going, we want to be an innovative university. We want to be an entrepreneurial university. We had to sit down, what do we introduce on the ground? And we managed to do that. But apart from introducing those particular entities that we thought they would help us to drive the vision of this particular institution, we are able to expand and respond to the needs of the society within the shortest period of time. So, for example, we've been able to introduce demand-driven programs within the program, within the short period of time. Programs that would take, for example, 2 years for you to introduce them into the program, into the system. It takes 6 months, okay? But within that particular 6 months, without compromising the processes. The quality assurance, they're there. We make sure that we follow all through. We make sure that the stakeholders are involved. And at the end of the day, within 6 months, you have a program that is introduced within the system. And at the same time, it is demand-driven. So the growth that we have on the ground, it can be attributed to the unbundling that happened, because I don't think we could have grown the way we have grown right now. And the growth that I'm talking about here is not just the student population, it's not just our own population in terms of the individuals here, but we are talking of the programs. We are talking of research. We are talking of innovations. We are talking of entrepreneurship. So it's like it has given us the freedom to think outside the box and be able to say, let's introduce this that is responsive to the needs of the industry.
Much as you've said that you're intensifying research and there are a lot of innovations that you've brought in, but there's still some concerns that what you're bringing out from these universities, including MUBAS, you're not really bringing out people that can bring solutions. Do you agree with those kind of assumptions?
Let me respond it in this way. Before 5 years ago, our programs, most of our programs, the students were not going on the industry attachment. So, for example, we would have a program, maybe 1, 2, 3 programs, where the students would be allowed to go on industrial attachment. But the majority of our programs, we were not doing any industrial attachment. And then at the same time, the equipment that we have, most of it is obsolete. It's equipment that is very old. We need new equipment. So we noted that particular challenge. We received those particular queries and concerns from the industry. When we were unbundled, we had to sit down and look at what would be the solutions. Therefore, we made a resolution at Senate level that all our programs, or most of our programs, they have, the students, at some point, they have to be attached to the industry. And so you will notice that most of the programs, at 3rd year or 4th year, our students, all of them, they go to industrial attachment. Previously, we used to send only those that are hands-on. But right now, even the School of Business and Economic Sciences, we send the students on industrial attachment. So for example, the program of taxation, okay, the newly introduced law degree program, they go on industrial attachment. And it's not just a vacation, but it is part of the curricula, meaning that they will have to pass that industrial attachment, that hands-on, that practical thing, they will have to pass if they are to get their degree. Why we introduce this is to address the concerns that the industry have. But also apart from that, even our own members of staff, we have now a framework that we are calling externship. Our members of staff, they will come to the point where they'll have to be attached to the industry. And the industry also, they'll be allowed to come here and be able to teach and interact with our students. All of that, we want to make sure that we bridge that particular gap. When we are reviewing the curricula, okay, we make sure that we involve different stakeholders or relevant stakeholders. I'll give you an example that we are addressing those particular issues. Mm-hmm. When we were reviewing engineering programs, one of the feedback that we got from the industry is that the way we structured the civil engineering programs at undergraduate level, we had different routes that the students were coming into when they are joining at 1st year. Let me say that with whatever we are introducing within the system, there is room for improvement. Mm-hmm. So we still receive the feedback from the stakeholders. Yes, we have improved our curricula. Yes, we are doing industrial attachment. Yes, we are doing the externships. Now what we need is, what is the feedback? After we have introduced this, are we still being irrelevant? So we still receive those particular feedbacks, and then since the review of our curricula is continuous, at a certain point we'll have to review and make sure that we include what the industry needs.
You mentioned something interesting mm-hmm. that I want to find out. Why is it a challenge for postgraduate students to graduate on time? That has been one of the challenges. Someone will register for a postgraduate course here and spend 8 years, on a course they should spend 2 years. What are you doing about that, and what are the challenges?
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
Have you done research recently to check how long?
I've got friends who have graduated recently who registered in somewhere in
Sometime back.
2020.
Exactly. So we became MUBAS 2021 on the 4th May. We started implementing our postgraduate programs, or the new way of doing things from 2022. And if you check from the 2022 to now, we have improved significantly, because we have introduced systems to make sure that postgraduate does not take as long as it was taking that particular time. So right now, you can come as an MBA student, 3 years or 2 years, you'll be done, because we have put that. So the issues that we have introduced in the system includes the supervision. So we had challenges in the past with the issues of, for example, of supervision, of which we have dealt with right now. We have also put in the other systems of this, like the support systems for our students. Where do they go to? How do they receive this? And so on and so forth. But also, we have introduced the system where when you join us, you have to make sure that you finish within your period +1. So for example, if a master's degree is 2 years, you will only be allowed to stay with us here for 2 years +1. So for maximum 3 years. After that, you will go. We'll give you the postgraduate diploma. What was happening was that they would do, most of them, they would do the coursework, but it takes forever to do the research. And so what we have done is we have said, okay, how do we restructure this so that everybody within 2 years they are supposed to finish? And we have seen tremendous improvement on that one. It was indeed a big challenge. We are not denying it, but we are working towards giving solution to that.
Back, Associate Professor Chitera.
Thank you.
Now, as continuation of our discussion, that we did hear the Minister of Finance when he was presenting the national budget, the 2026-27 budget.
Yes.
He did mention that public universities now should become viable, economically viable on themselves, and not to rely on government subvention. What's your take on this, and what are you doing to be economically independent?
Thank you very much. So that call by the minister is timely and necessary. So let me go straight into what we are doing on the ground. We have our own, what we call the resource mobilization strategy, approved by Council. That's what we are following. And we have projections in terms of the revenue that we would want to bring into the institution. One of the ways that or the entities that we have produced, or that we have introduced within the system is, it's known as MCL, but it's called MUBAS Commercial Limited. So the MCL is the short of the MUBAS Commercial Limited. This is a special purpose vehicle that would help us to generate revenue. We had to think outside the box. Apart from the human development, what kind of expertise do we have within the institution that we can utilize to bring the revenue inside here? And therefore, we came up with this particular company. Within this particular company, there are 5, should I say, films or units.
Okay.
These 5 films or units includes, we are calling it wood tech. So anything that you want, which is wood, the furniture, the whatever, as long as it is wood, it is being manufactured there. And actually right now we are receiving orders from the industry with this particular film. Apart from that, we have our own media house. Apart from that, we also have what we are calling IngeBelt. So the IngeBelt is the one-stop shop for construction. So for example, it can be a house, it can be office complex, it can be roads, it can be a bridge, anything within the construction. So what this company is doing is that we start from designing. Even before the designing, you want title deeds, you want property evaluation, you want somebody to help you with the BOQs. Whatever within that particular construction, we are doing it up to the level of construction. It's registered and have all the certificates. Apart from this NG belt, we have our own filling station where we have the steers there and so on and so forth. That's also part of our generating revenue. But also apart from the filling station, we are also going into mining. And we have gone a long way. Right now, we are almost set. What we are waiting for is the mining license, but everything we have done. So the moment we start that, we want to believe that in the short term or in the long term or in the medium term, whatever term is there, whatever time will be given, at the end of the day, we are looking at a university that is financially stable. Yeah, so those are some of the entities that we have introduced. But apart from that, we have also other entities that we have introduced within the schools that are generating resources. This is over and above the issues of commercialization of our research, and so on and so forth. So we have the research strategy, the resource mobilization strategy that is explaining all these particular things that I have given out here to make sure that we generate revenue for the institution. For example, we have our own garage, for example, and we have organizations that are bringing their own cars within this particular garage, So those are some of the things that we are introducing within the system.
You mentioned something very interesting. I'm looking at the issue of mining, which is one of the key sectors that government is putting a lot of emphasis on. Tell us more about the mining sector. Which minerals are you looking at, and where exactly are you looking at exploiting?
Thank you very much. So we looked at first of all, we look at the expertise that we have as an institution, because we don't want to hire the expertise outside, So we looked at our own expertise and the equipment that we had. And so we said, I think we can go into the lime production, but our long term is the cement production. So we have our own experts that helped us to go through all the process to identify this particular limestone and exactly where. So they did whatever they do within that particular field, and we found a place in Baraka at Chenkumbi. That's where we are. After we had done everything required by the authority, the mining authority, we applied for an exploration license, and they gave us exploration license for that particular area. After the exploration, we did everything. We produced the Asia report internally and submitted to MEBA for an approval. And I'm happy to report that we have received that approval. We had a provisional mining license, but it was waiting for this approval for them now finally to give us. So to answer your question, we will be mining limestone and then producing lime. But in the long term, we are looking at cement production. Yes.
All right. Now, Professor, I would talk about that forever, but there are a lot of issues that we can talk about in terms of mining. But then also I do understand that you want to go into manufacturing of tractors. Where are you with that project?
Yes, so we have the company. It was launched in February. Actually, right now, as we are talking, we have 8 tractors that are in production. Before that, we produced 6 tractors for a different organization. Before that, we also produced the 2. So it's like 6 plus 2, that's 8. Right now, we have other 8. For a different organization. We have also received an order. We have different farmers that are coming with their tractors. We are repairing them. We are producing spare parts for those tractors. We have made a number of plows, the ridges for the farmers, and different spare parts, and not just for tractors. This spare parts is for anything, as long as it is something metal. We are able to produce that. So right now, we have quite a number of customers that have come through, and our factory is operational and functional right now. And we are working with different organizations. We have a big organization that we are working with, and by September, we will have, they have given us, I don't know to mention it here, but they have given us a very big order that we have to fulfill by September. This is it's an organization that have over 52,000 farmers, not just farmers, but we're talking of like different organizations throughout the whole Malawi. They are looking for machinery, they are looking for spare parts, they want the tractors. They've been ordering their tractors from China, but they have very big issues with that. So they want us to be producing and supplying for them, and that's the order that we are working with now. But apart from that, we also have different other organizations that have come forward and given us the orders. So it is a company that is operational, fully operational, and they want to make sure that we should grow beyond where we are. The main struggle that we are having now is the marketing. We just want to make sure that our marketing team, they are able to disseminate this information everywhere so that people are aware that we can make tractors for them, and not just tractors, but any spare part that they would want us to make. We are doing that. We have the state-of-the-art machines. Let me acknowledge here that these machines, they were bought by the government, the PSIP funding. So, but we are seeing the benefits and the fruits of that kind of investment.
How sure should Malawians be on the durability or the quality of these tractors? And sometimes we wonder that something is being produced in Malawi, but you find that the price is exorbitant and unreasonable. What are you telling Malawians in terms of the prices of these tractors and the durability itself?
Okay, so in terms of durability, MUBAS is a brand. We believe that MUBAS is a brand on its own, and we would not want to jeopardize that particular brand. And so even our members of staff, we talk about that. And we've taught each other that that's what we have to strive for. So you see that because that quality starts from the materials that you are using. So starting from the materials that we're using, the equipment that we bought, of course it's German made, but it's state-of-the-art equipment that most of the challenges that are there in terms of quality, they are well taken care of. We have the quality assurance systems in place. We are working hand in hand with the Malawi Bureau of Standards to make sure that whatever we produce is of quality and durable. And however, if there will be any issues, we are here, we are in Malawi. They can come back and tell us that this is your thing and it has these particular challenges. We should be able to resolve that particular challenge. On the issue of prices, I agree with you that the prices, they are somehow on the high side, but this is a public institution. We use public procurement. So it's because of that particular system that is raising the prices. However, we are working on that. So soon we are going to have a meeting with the ST and all those government officials. We want to see how they can help us in terms of buying of the raw materials and be able to produce at like mass production, because we want to believe that. So I've said we started with 2, then 6, then 8. You look at the numbers, economically you will see that the prices would not be the same if we have an order of 100. The prices would be different. So we want to believe that as we are going up, as we are expanding, as the orders are coming through, the prices would start going down and we should be able to match the market. But apart from the prices, the nation should be assured of the quality, but also the services, even the spare parts, they are locally found. If they buy from outside, for example, and it breaks down, that's the end of it, because they will have to order a spare part from outside. But we are here in Malawi. It breaks down, we produce the spare part for them.
Now, moving away from that, there's been an outcry that in public universities, looking at the issue of accommodation for students, it's been a real struggle for students to find proper accommodation. You find that some students that are here at MUBAS have to travel a long distance to come to school. What are you doing to ensure that students are in secure places, that their safety is secure? You're making sure of their safety and security, and ensuring that there's availability of accommodation.
Thank you. So it's true that accommodation is very scarce for our students. especially here in Blantyre, because we are a number of institutions with big numbers of students, but the same accommodation. So specifically for us, MUBAS, we had a strategy in the long term, the short term, and the medium term. In the short term or the medium term, what we are doing is that we want our students to be within. When we talk of within, we are talking of, for example, rather than going as far as Chirobwe or whatever, we need to find like accommodation within the surrounding areas. So we are talking of, for example, Chitawira and Krokosa, the areas that are safe and secure. Maybe you might be aware that we released an advert looking for the landlords that are willing to upgrade their infrastructure into a hostel using the WCHE standards. Okay, so luckily we have received a lot of such kind of applications, and we are working with different banks that would provide loans, but like softer loans, because we had to negotiate on behalf of those particular landlords.
Associate Professor Chitera, appreciate your time in the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you.
Zachitika kuti zachitika nthawi zanji kodi nanga amene wapanga ndani musakhale nawo gulu lovutika ndi mphekesera la ayi tapangani subscribe ku Malawi Daily Headlines lero kuti zochitika mdziko mwanu momwe zisamakuphonyeni.